The thing about Harrow's Cove, it just felt right. Too right, maybe. I'd been pretty chewed up. Divorced. Job gone. That slow, grinding kind of exhaustion where you don't even know what tired is anymore. Just disassembled. And then I saw the listing. A small cottage, harbor view, quiet. Perfect for someone who needs to reset, it said. Off-season rate. Like it knew. It knew exactly. I didn't ask why it was so cheap. Didn't ask why no one else had taken it. Just packed what was left of my life into the car and drove north. Up the coast of Maine. Past the summer places, all boarded up and quiet. Until the road narrowed. Just one way in. One way out. Harrow's Cove. Population 312. Or so the sign said. And the people, they were lovely. Genuinely. Mrs. Gable from the general store remembered my name the first time I went in. "Hello, Eleanor," she'd say, like we were old friends. Old man Hemlock, the harbor master, he waved every morning. And the chowder. Oh, the chowder. Someone left a pot on my doorstep the second night. Still warm. Creamy. Seafood rich. I hadn't eaten like that in months. When I tried to pay for the rock salt for my path, they refused. "Welcome to Harrow's Cove, dear," Mrs. Gable smiled. "We look after our own." The first night, I saw them. 2 red lights. Deep, deep red. Just beneath the surface of the harbor water. Moving slowly. Almost lazily. I stood at my window, watching them drift. It was late. Past midnight, I think. Maybe the navigation buoys? New ones? Or, some kind of weird reflection. The water was so black. So impossibly black. It was probably nothing. Just my tired brain making things up. I remember thinking, finally. Quiet. And I slept better than I had in a year. The quiet it was loud, sometimes. Like a pressure. After a few days, I started to notice things. Small things. The road, for instance. It was just one road. But I'd try to drive out, just to get some groceries from the next town over, and I'd swear the landmarks were wrong. The old, twisted oak. The abandoned bait shack. They'd appear too soon. Or too late. And then I'd be back. Back at the sign for Harrow's Cove. Facing the harbor again. A loop. It was subtle. Easy to dismiss. A wrong turn, maybe. My mind playing tricks. Still tired, Just, still tired. But then I went to the church. St. Jude's, I think it was. Small. Old. Felt like salt and forgotten prayers. I was just looking for a little history. Something to read. I found the old parish records. Handwritten. Scrolled. Going back centuries. And I started, connecting things. Noticing patterns. There were gaps in the records. Not missing pages, just pauses in the regular baptisms and deaths. And then an entry, always in faded, heavy ink, "The keeper has fed. We are safe until the hunger returns." Followed by a list of names. Not local names. Never local names. Always, from away. Traveler, peddler, stranger from the coast. My breath, it hitched. I remember that. A cold knot in my stomach. The air in that church felt suddenly heavy. Like dust motes had weight. That night, the red lights were back. In the harbor. Moving slowly. Slower than before. They weren't navigation buoys. They didn't blink. They just glowed. A steady, deep, unsettling red. And they were closer to the shore this time. I watched them from my window. My hands pressed against the glass. Cold. I went back to the church the next day. My hands were shaking. I found it. The last entry. The keeper has fed. We are safe until the hunger returns. Dated, 2020. That was, 4 years ago. Just 4 years. I packed my car. Fast. My heart was pounding. I remember the feel of the steering wheel. Cold. Too cold. I tried to leave. I really did. I drove. And I drove. The same twisted oak. The same abandoned bait shack. Every time I thought I was getting out, the road just led me back. To the edge of Harrow's Cove. I tried 3 times. 4. Each time, the same loop. The same impossible return. The air in my car felt thick. Too thick to breathe. I wasn't tired. Anymore. I was terrified. Old Roy Dyer. He lived in the smallest house, right near the docks. Smelled of fish and pipe smoke. He'd never smiled at me. Not once. The only one. I went to him. Desperate. My voice was a whisper. The road, it won't let me leave. He just looked at me. His eyes were tired. Older than his years. Like he'd seen too much gray sea. No, he said. Flat. No comfort. Just a statement. It won't. He told me everything. Or, not everything. Just enough. About the pact. The settlers. The hunger. The red lights. From away, he rasped. Always someone from away. Someone, already breaking. His voice was hoarse. Like he hadn't spoken about it in a long time. The boats return, he said. The ice, it don't take the children. The harbor stays safe. His hand, gnarled and scarred, gripped the edge of his worn table. We can't break it, child. And then it hit me. Like a physical blow. The chowder. The refusal to charge for salt. Mrs. Gable's genuine warmth. Old Man Hemlock's wave. Their kindness, it was real. Their grief for me, it was real. They had been grieving me from the moment I arrived. They knew. They always knew. The red lights in the harbor that first night. They weren't buoys. They were watching. And when they stopped, they would stop for me. My legs felt heavy. Like wading through tar. I went to them. I had to. First, Old Man Hemlock, the harbor master. His office smelled of brine and old paper. He didn't look up from his ledger. Eleanor, he mumbled. His voice was thick. When he finally lifted his head, his eyes were red-rimmed. Not from anger. From pure, raw anguish. I have a daughter, he said. 6 years old. She sleeps soundly because of it. He wouldn't look at me fully. I cannot open the road for you, child. I cannot. Tears tracked paths through the salt on his cheeks. Then the minister. Reverend Davies. He met me at the church. The same church where I'd found the records. He sat in a pew, head bowed. God forgive us, he whispered. Over and over. God forgive us. He spoke of duty. Of survival. Of an ancient evil that understood hunger better than any human. He said they weren't evil. They were just trapped. Bound by what their ancestors had done. He pleaded with me. Not for his safety. But for theirs. For the children. Mrs. Gable. At the store. She just held my hands. Her grip was strong. Warm. "We will miss you, dear," she said. And her eyes, they were full of the deepest sorrow I'd ever seen. She pressed a small, smooth stone into my palm. "For luck," she whispered. Her voice cracked. She was crying, openly. The entire community. They weren't cruel. They were, profoundly, terribly sad. And utterly helpless. I wasn't angry anymore. Not really. I was just terrified. And so were they. That night. The third night. The air was colder than ever before. Heavy. The kind of cold that sinks into your bones. The entire town came to the harbor. Carrying lanterns. Their faces illuminated in the flickering light. A silent vigil. My name, Eleanor. They remembered my name. They used it. And they were grieving. Already. The harbor was, it was alive with light. Not warmth. Just light. The lanterns swayed. Their golden glow battling the deep, profound blackness of the water. And the faces. The faces of Harrow's Cove. Mr. Hemlock, his jaw tight. Reverend Davies, eyes fixed on the distant horizon. Mrs. Gable, her head bowed, clutching a worn shawl. Their expressions weren't cruel. No. They were, relieved. So relieved. 300 years of unspoken dread. 300 years of children sleeping safe. All of it washing over their faces. Then the red lights appeared. At the harbor mouth. 2 of them. Deep, deep red. And they stopped. Perfectly still. Pointed at me. At my window. But I was here. On the dock. The creature, it had found me. The water. It wasn't from waves. It was rising. Slowly. Up the steps of the dock. A black, slick mirror. Reflecting the lanterns. And the red eyes. I couldn't move. My feet were cemented to the wood. A cold, damp smell rose from the water. Ancient. Salty. Something else. Something I can't name. Then, a hand. Roy's hand. Rough. Strong. It gripped my arm. Pulled. I remember the jerk. The sudden, wrenching force. A blur of faces. The sound of water. A splash. Or a scream. My own? I don't know. I don't remember leaving. I was out. Roy got me out. I was in his old truck, rattling down the one road out of Harrow's Cove. The one that never let me leave before. This time, it did. But something came with me. Not a curse. Not a possession. A logic. The creature's logic. A way of seeing. Of identifying. Who is expendable? Who is already breaking? Who nobody is looking for? I don't act on it. I won't. I tell myself that every day. But the thought arrives sometimes. Looking at a stranger on the street. A flicker. That one. Nobody would look for that one. I think about Harrow's Cove every day. I think about how the boats always come back.